Contaminated drinking water in places like Flint, Michigan, sickened hundreds of people and caused an estimated 8,000 children to be exposed to lead, which can cause significant learning delays.
The quality of Wisconsin's drinking water has also been a cause for concern in some local counties over the past few years. Eric Jacobson shows us what's been found in our drinking water in a News 8's Investigate report.
Mike and Martha, one of the biggest concerns when it comes to water quality in our area is nitrate. It is a compound most commonly found in nature, and according to a 2015 groundwater report to the Wisconsin legislature, it is Wisconsin's most widespread groundwater contaminant, affecting over 90,000 Wisconsin households. It also has no color and no smell, making it difficult to know if it's present without a test. Trempealeau County is one of the areas that has seen the most concentrated nitrate levels in our area. Federal standards say nitrate levels in public wells should be at or below 10 milligrams per liter. As it shows on this map, the average private well concentration on the southern end of the county is above that limit, with other regions in our area approaching that same number. Doctors say the compound can have serious health effects, particularly with infants and pregnant women.
For example, when you see something called a blue baby syndrome, if you get infants that are exposed to high nitrate levels, maybe in the water that's being used to mix their formula, they aren't carrying enough oxygen in their blood, so they're not going to be pink, they're going to be blue.
It is important to note that blue baby syndrome is curable with proper treatment. Now, some research has also connected elevated nitrated levels to various cancers and birth defects, but doctors say more research is needed before we know the long-term effects for those exposed to elevated levels of nitrate over a longer period of time. As for how it gets into the water, according to that groundwater report, at least 90% of nitrate in water originates from manure, agricultural fertilizers, and septic systems. I spoke with one farmer who has been battling high nitrate levels for more than a decade.
Making things grow is exciting.
Ken Congdon has been farming nearly his whole life.
I love to see things grow. My dad enjoyed farming, my grandpa enjoyed farming.
Nestled on the southern end of Trempealeau County, the Congdon's farm has been in the family since 1921. But since the 80s, Congdon had begun hearing concerns in the media about groundwater quality.
We had a daughter, and she was 1 year old, and we thought it'd be a wise thing to check the groundwater, see what nitrates or anything was in it.
So in the mid-80s, Congdon began having his water tested for, among other things, nitrates.
They started below 10 in the mid-5s, mid-6s.
But over time,
and in a few years they started to climb.
So much so that by the mid-2000s, the Congdon's farm had nitrate levels that were in the mid-20s. More than double the federal standard.
It doesn't seem like it should have ever been a problem, but for some reason it was.
The problem is increasing.
UW Extension's Pat Malone has tested over 800 private wells in Trempealeau County in her nearly 30 years in her position.
We've had readings all the way from, trace, undetectable, up to 100 plus.
Because of the topography of the county, much of the water sheds in a pattern from north to south towards the Mississippi. That effect creates a higher concentration of nitrates in the county's southern townships.
Nitrate is a good screener because if it can get into the water, some other things might be able to get into the water.
Malone has tested for nitrates in more than 200 private wells in this region.
Of the two towns together, roughly 40% exceeded the standard. So those are incredibly significant.
For Malone, her quest to inform farmers about nitrates is a little more personal.
I grew up on a farm. It's like I watched my dad. He did the very best that he could. I'll also tell you that one of my sisters ended up with blue baby syndrome.
It's not fully known the effects of long-term exposure to nitrates, but doctors say it's best to avoid water with high nitrate levels.
When we see patients and we have a known water problem in their households, if you're pregnant, I would tell them definitely don't drink the water. I would use bottled water.
We did buy bottled water for a number of years for use in the house.
For those with high levels of nitrates, however, there are proven solutions to remove the contaminants. After battling nitrates for years, Congdon and his family purchased a distiller.
Creates a steam out of it and eliminates anything that's in the water. In fact, it even takes the taste away.
Other solutions include installing a reverse osmosis system, which uses pressure to eliminate contaminants such as nitrate. One doctor knows firsthand its effectiveness.
We have a well and we have a reverse osmosis system. And then we were able to test the water again after we put that system in, and the water tested fine, so we were able to use that water.
Experts agree that there are proven solutions to addressing nitrates, but they say testing needs to be more widespread among private well owners.
I think the most important thing to remember is if you move to a new home or you have your own well at your house is to get your water tested.
It's really, really important to test because you can't do anything unless you know what's in the water.
Now, for those looking to test their water, the La Crosse County Health Department offers testings at its laboratory for $25 per contaminant you wish to test. All you need to do is use a bottle like this and follow the directions on the bottle.
All right, now you've been talking about nitrates in private wells so far, but what about the public wells that serve restaurants and even workplaces?
Well, the problem of high nitrate levels does not exist only in private wells, but also public ones. The city of Trempealeau actually had to replace their well in November of 2010 due to high nitrate levels. The only difference between a private well and a public well, however, is that the public wells, have to reach that 10 milligrams per liter level in order by the law.
Okay, thanks very much, Eric.